Hey guys, Desolator Magic here, and it's time for Chapter 2 of the official story from Magic the Gathering, and this one is entitled Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Oh wait, no, I got confused. That's what they named the standard meta after all that Jace duplicating, cloning, stone super weapon bullshit comes out. No, this one's called Episode 2, Race to the Marasa Skyclave, and it starts with Nahiri was pleased. And also infuriated. Well, you got me hooked, I'm in. It's so much drama. So what an emotional roller coaster so far in the first 6 words. So remember the glowing thing from the other chapter? Yeah, it's in her pocket now. It's a key. So it says that extremely mature and definitely adult with rational feelings and emotions Nahiri, who is literally over 6,000 years old. So that Nahiri is infuriated because her most recent adventure with Nissa made it abundantly clear she could not visit the Marasa Skyclave alone and hope to survive. Remember, in the last one, she literally ran through it like a suicidal maniac, setting off every trap and every defense and everything she possibly could. Basically the worst D&D party member ever. And they kind of implied it was confidence because she's so old and powerful and stone is kind of her thing. And technically before they even got there, Nissa had to save her from falling off of her own stupid stone staircase because she ran too fast. And she fell, and then she caught her with some vines. So a 6,000-year-old petty, childish, selfish, arrogant, absolute moron who's a clumsy idiot and doesn't know how to use their powers. Written by A.T. Greenblatt, who, you know what, I'm going to call it like I see it, does not understand or have any respect for women, because my god, is this just one giant walking stereotype. So anyway, she's back in Seagate, and she's like, well, screw Nissa, I'm going to find the best team of adventurers in Zendikar. And it says she knew where to find them. Yes, that giant organization she started. What a leap in logic. Good for her. She literally started a company of adventurers. Like it said that in the intro setup. And it said word for word, they are the best. Where am I ever going to find expert adventurers? Oh, wait, that giant company of expert adventurers that I personally started for this exact reason. Aha, I've solved it. This is the shittiest writing I have ever seen. Ever. This A.T. Greenblatt person is a lunatic. Before I say this next part, it might be, just an opportune time to remind you that I used to work for like a $10 to $20 billion company, which is more than Hasbro's worth, and I was one of their top paid writers. In fact, they invited me out to California and paid lots of money to put me up on the top floor of a hotel on the ocean just to be a guest star at their user convention, okay? To say that I know writing would be a gigantic understatement. Yes, it was mostly nonfiction content. Don't care. Shut up. So with that established, one of the next sentences is, the war with the Eldrazi razed the original city to the ground. Wait. Isn't that what the word raised means? Did you have to write to the ground? Are you just using a fancier sounding word that you don't know what the hell it means? Or do you just think the readers are stupid? Honestly, the first chapter was painful, and these first 3 paragraphs are a disgrace. Usually I have fun with these, but this writing is absolute shit. So anyway, without this video just being one giant dump on this asshole, I'll pretend that this is written by somebody who knows what the hell they're doing and knows the characters at a basic level and just kind of cover for this dumbass. So alright, let's move on with the funny haha version of the story as told by Desolator. I lied. The Seagate had been rebuilt, but there were still scars on its buildings. Period. New paragraph. And on its people. Period. New paragraph. So she's walking through the city and she's just keeping her gaze fixed straight ahead. She didn't linger at the magnificent lighthouse or the city's entrance or the open air market. She barely even glanced at the new war memorial. But no, Nahiri didn't need a huge monument to remind her of what she'd lost. I actually looked into the author. Let me read a statement that she made about this. I'm happy to announce that my first tie-in fiction is now up and free to read on the Magic the Gathering website. It's been a fun project and a nice break from hitting my head against all the unfinished stories on my hard drive. This is the first time writing stories in a pre-existing fictional universe. Seriously, I've never even written fan fiction before. I mean, it makes sense. She works full-time as an engineer. So it makes sense to hire her. Maybe they should just hire me. I've almost never written fiction and I could do a hell of a lot better than this. And you guys know I don't know the lore worth a shit, but I'd look it up. So Nahiri kept walking with her stern face on, and some merchants were going to walk up to her hawking goods, but they quickly changed course when they caught the look in her eye because she's in a mood. We all know how moody, extremely mature, and well-experienced 6,000-year-olds are. You know how they can be. So she pushed through the wrought iron doors to the Seagate Expeditionary House, that thing that she made, and it was just the smell of ale and a bunch of stupid, chaotic, alcoholic dumbasses. It was absolute chaos, and in the middle of it sat Ksenia. She's the head of the Expeditionary House, which is weird because I really thought it was Nahiri. So she ignored all the chaos around her, but then when she saw Nahiri and saw that she was in a mood, she got up to go see what's up. So I just double checked. I'm not 100% sure if Ksenia originally started the Seagate Expeditionary House or if it was Nahiri. They kind of suggested it was both. Now I'm deeply confused, but sure, we'll go with Ksenia. Whatever. Maybe I just thought they were talking about Nahiri and at the end they said Ksenia and I still haven't wrapped my mind around it. I don't know. It says she was wearing that red necklace, which is funny because the first chapter said she sold it and used it to fund her new venture, the Seagate Expeditionary House. So how and why is she still wearing it if she sold it? Well, then the first thing Nahiri says to her is, I'm pleased to see my investment is flourishing. And then Ksenia called her a benefactor. So did she just front the money and put Ksenia in charge? I am so confused. So she's like, I need a team. And then Ksenia's like, yeah, well, then you came to the right place. And you probably already have a team in mind. And Nahiri just smiles. Her perfect ideal team that she picked out is definitely Screen Time, whose powers run on internet gas, Snowflake, and Safe Space. I have nothing nice to say about them. B Negative and Trailblazer, who is definitely over the weight limit for anything they're going to do in the Skyclave. I don't know why the announcement article from March is still up. I'm pretty sure this comic got canceled. By the way, that was a real thing Marvel was going to do. Those are real superheroes. I mean, I use that term loosely, but in their opinion it is. By the way, little break in the story here. This video is sponsored by canceling your Netflix subscription. Those far-left, activist, lunatic, fringe perverts that they exclusively employ there. I mean, we had some Spanish film where people just outright called it, I can't use that phrase on YouTube, but let's just say bad content involving kids. Then there was Big Mouth, the most perverse thing I've ever heard of. Then there's the movie Cuties. Need I say more? And then as of today, Matt Schaefer from the Texas House of Representatives is calling for an investigation into them, and I hope we see arrests because somebody needs to get arrested over that. Just many people need to be arrested over this. I canceled my Netflix subscription and they told me in the email, hey, you've been subscribed for like 11 years. I'm like, you've crossed the line. Wait, let me look up their stock price really quick compared to last week. Oh, no. Well, half of Netflix's staff is about to get fired and or arrested and their stock is going to tank and they're probably going to file for bankruptcy. So, might want to subscribe to my channel so you at least got something to watch. Let's get back to trying to make anything vaguely entertaining and informative out of this shit chapter of this shit story. By the way, the major news media narrative over this one, because I gotta spin it, is Netflix is being attacked by far-right extremists over this content. And like the three highlighted comments on Twitter that got the most attention were a Marxist, somebody with like the sickle and hammer flag in their bio. I think the other one was like a trans person. Everyone is offended by this bullshit. You know why? Because it's just the far left gone too far, just like everything right now, just like the riots. If you don't vote for Trump, you are out of your mind. To give these governors and mayors and presidents and members of Congress one more ounce of power so they can continue this insanity. What the is wrong with you? Seriously. But Des, the media told me that Trump is mean and he does bad things and he's secretly a racist and working with Russia, even though that was all disproven and it's propaganda bullshit that I believe for some reason. You're a brainwashed idiot. He's up for the Nobel Peace Prize. He's been nominated twice, I heard. No new wars, no new waste of money. The budget's under control. Well, it wasn't until COVID. The economy was doing amazing. No tax increases. He's done more for human trafficking than any Democrat has. He's done more for black people in the last 4 years than any Democrat ever has. The Democrats were the South in the Civil War, in case you don't know your history. So anyway, advertisement over, and like legit after that, I think I'll just turn off mid-rolls, because that was about enough. So Nahiri ends up recruiting 4 people. First, we've got Akiri, a core woman who is renowned throughout Zendikar for her line slinging and was in the last sub-chapter side thing, whatever, which thankfully was written by someone else. Then we've got a small human wizard with a large carved staff named Kaza. Then we've got Aura, a core cleric with a long white beard and a library's worth of knowledge in his head. Then we've got Xerath, the merfolk guy from the last story. Even though she handpicked him and apparently had him in mind ahead of time, he was sitting against the back wall with his arms crossed, waiting for her, watching her, I can read, with an air of mistrust, and Nahiri knew instantly she would have to be cautious around him. Then why did you pick him and why don't you fire him? Go in the other room, there's 100 other people in there. My gosh, choose literally anyone. Oh gee, the rogue in the group with the history of stealing things, but now he's reformed and he's just really good with traps and stuff. I'll have to keep my eye on him while he's in our party. Oh, I've never heard somebody say that about a rogue in a D&D party. What brave and intriguing, interesting writing that's not like anything I've ever read before. I'm Nahiri, she said. I've been on adventures worthy of legends. I'm asking you to join me on one of those expeditions now. The adventurers didn't reply. They all wore expressions of various levels of skepticism. Good, she thought. They don't accept things at face value. But just then, Nahiri got a clue and fired them all. She replaced them with Aaron Forsyth, Mark Rosewater, and David Bowie, because why not? But then she saw what all of them were demanding in payment and went back to the shitty first party that she should never have even considered in the first place. What has Ksenia told you about me? Nahiri asked, leaning back in the chair. Well, you're 6,000 years old, you're absolutely famous, you're practically a god on this plane, and you're literally one of the 2 defenders of Zendikar alongside Nissa, so literally everybody's heard of you, and we know that, but we're just being assholes, is what they should have said. But you're forgetting one important thing. A.T. Greenblatt wrote this. So then Aura, the cleric, was like, well, she said you could travel to other realms, and that you're powerful enough to face down an Eldrazi alone. Oh, and you're good with like stone stuff, like stoneware. I'm more of a Tupperware guy. And then she's like, I wish the last one was true. And the last one was fighting an Eldrazi alone. I don't know. I didn't read the story. I assume it's not true. So then Zareth, if I were to paraphrase, goes, well, then why do you need us losers? So she thought, because I'm probably walking into a trap. But she said, there's an ancient object called the lithoform core, and I need your help retrieving it. If it's a trap dungeon, I would say drop the wizard and bring 2 rogues. I mean, you missed the full party bonus, but you probably won't walk into any traps, you know what I mean? By the way, I don't know if you knew this or not, but Trap Dungeon is the name of Mark Rosewater's side project. It's an album of all trap remixes, but they all have the words changed to be D&D themed. You should check it out, it's pretty good. Trap Dungeon in stores now. A lot of ads in this video. So anyway, they're like, okay, where is it? And she's like, it's in Marasa, and they're like, okay, that's way up there. What are we ever going to do? It's not like there's giant flying creatures and sphinxes and magic abilities to fly and flying artifacts in this set, which one would assume are public knowledge. But no one's been able to climb that, Kaza said, sounding nervous. They don't have a point of IQ between them, do they? And then Zareth says, what's in it for us? And Nahiri gets like super mad. Nahiri! They're mercenaries, you donkey! Gordon Ramsay's in the room too. And if Gordon Ramsay is wondering why you're getting mad, maybe you have an anger problem, which you would thought would be resolved over the last 6,000 years of living. You'd think you'd be more of a mature level. No, I guess not in this version. So her explanation is not, I'm rich and I'll pay you. It's, this lithoform core thing can fix Zendikar. She didn't say stop the royal, but she should have because that's what she meant. And the whole world to be safe, and won't that be enough of a reward? And then she adds on to the end, and also riches and fame for the people who saved the world. The damage to this world is immense, Akiri said. I lost my entire family to the Eldrazi, Aura said quietly. I lost friends, Kaza said. What is this, a PTSD support group? We all lost someone, Akiri said. Looking back at Zareth again, who is clearly still alive, so I'm not sure what that is, but okay. And I think all of us dream of a safer world. So Zareth, who clearly has an intelligence score of about 3, and I'm surprised he knows how to talk, says, what's stopping us from getting the core without you? Oh, you're fired. And then she says, I have the key, and pulls it out of her pocket, letting him know which pocket to pickpocket later. Holy shit, everybody in this room is a raging dumbass. So they're all impressed by the glowing. It's like a small star, so it's kind of a dick move then to pull it out and put it on the table. So, you know, like you do, Zareth challenged her to a card game because they play a card game with all their potential clients. Fire him! Fire him and hire a different rogue. Holy shit, Nahiri. Get a clue. Adventuring parties like to call this little game Conquest, which I'm sure Hasbro will have on the shelves in 2022 because Magic went so far down the toilet, I bet they're actually starting a new TCG. And that they put it in as an Easter egg in the story. They even put it in italics. Although the very next sentence is, he tapped the tabletop in the center of the ring and the cards began to hover and spin in midair. That would be hard to pull off. So the card game's like some bullshit version of Truth or Dare, and it's all a trick to get information, and I don't know, it's pretty dumb. So she flips over a card called Power, and so she turns all the cards into slabs of granite and makes them all fly into her hand, and then she says, I win. That's how you play a card game. That's a power move. That's an alpha dog move right there. Turn the cards into granite, make them fly into your hand, and say, I win the game. That's like my strategy while playing Monopoly. If somebody gets one too many houses and I'm starting to get nervous, I just grab all the houses, put them in my mouth, crunch them up, eat them, and say, oh shit, Hurricane Katrina, I win. So they're like, okay, well, see you tomorrow morning. We're leaving. Leaving on the quest or whatever. So, place your bets. Who's going to die on this adventure? I'm going to say the cleric. Oprah or whatever his name was. So it's after midnight and one of the last people in the place is Zareth. And he's like, what gives Nahiri the right to change his world anyway? You mean fix it? Like stop places from getting destroyed and fix it. Are you stupid? And then leader lady goes to Zareth and says, don't you set out in the morning? And he says, yes, but I want to enjoy this evening just in case it's my last. It's like he's trying to get fired from the party. Yes, but I'm going to go into it with a lack of sleep because I suck at my job. Haha, I'm the best rogue here. So his whole problem is, if they fix the ancient ruins and we go back to the whole fortresses and, heavy-handed rule, I guess he's trying to imply, even though he wouldn't know about it. Do you think there'll be a place for people like us? I don't know if he means merfolk or rogues or if it's just some vague SJW propaganda bullshit about discrimination. So his plan is, you find me a buyer for the core who's rich and stupid and won't actually use it. I'll handle the rest. It's like he's trying to get fired from the party. He's literally talking to the owner of the Seagate Expedition Hall. But Ksenia replies, get me the core and I'll consider it. Oh, this'll go well. Zareth smiled. It wasn't a yes, but it wasn't a no either. It was good enough for him. For now. Well, that's because he's an idiot. So we're halfway through the chapter, but this video is long as hell, and I have a terrible sore throat today from forgetting to take my allergy meds yesterday. Yay. So I'm splitting into two parts. So part 2 of chapter 2, I guess 2B, will be up probably tomorrow, although I'm working most of tomorrow, so we'll see. So thanks for watching. Stop voting toxic leftist extremist nutbars into office, and I'll see you guys next video.